What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another watch list video. Happy Thursday. You got the NQ down in the after hours right now, about 1%. So getting a nice little flush there. Same thing with your ES, right? Pretty much at the 50-day NQ is kind of getting close to maybe a spot for a higher low is possible for sure. You look at a weekly chart, maybe looks like it just could be basing. Overall, though, for the QQQ today, not the best day. You lost the 10 and 20 day. Um, Again after gapping up, so not my favorite. You got some support below, so that's going to be important. Definitely something I'm going to continue to keep an eye on. um, but yeah, overall not my favorite day, right? For me it was a do absolutely nothing day. Besides, in the morning I did try to take a SanDisk short, which worked extremely well, right? You come into the resistance gap, on the big gap up, you get a nice run into it, and then you fail, and that's where I was getting short, right around here. And it was working well, and then this thing just decided to ramp the whole rest of the day. So unfortunately, got stopped out on that. But it is what it is, right? Took a small loss there. I'll take it. It was working great. I think at the beginning of the day there was a lot of stuff that looked like the short was working, and I felt like a genius until I wasn't anymore. And it is what it is. But overall, breath today, it was good. It wasn't terrible, right? You had more stocks up 4% than down. Your SMH held the 20-day today. So that looks fine, right? Your IWM is pushing into new highs. That looks absolutely amazing. Your SPY is trying to hold the 50-day, right? You're building some like a 3-day super tight range here at the 50. Will it hold? I don't know, right? Like I said, you got the ES down the after hours, and the NQ, and your SanDisk is down, the Microns is down. So that's definitely interesting to keep an eye on tomorrow, on a gap down, possibly. Right, a few ETFs I really like, right? You got your hack. If I go to a weekly chart here, super nice little flag being built here on the cybersecurity group, right? Bug is another one. You get an inside week so far, with one more day left, right? Friday. And then cyber, same thing, right? They all look the same. Of course, they're all cybersecurity. They all look really good. These are some of the best looking charts in my opinion, right? I look at the data center ETF, right? You look at a daily chart, looks like it's trying to build a base. Maybe this spot over here, wherever it wants to, can be a higher low, and it will just continue building out the right side of this base. So can it build a higher low here? Maybe. I think a few of the stocks in this group look okay. And I threw a few on my list. You got Riot, super nice shakeout today of the 20-day. Big bottom wick, right? The weekly chart looks fine. It doesn't look it's not my favorite, but continue building out this base here. I don't mind this candle today, and I will watch how it acts tomorrow. I think an inside day tomorrow will be super interesting. Um, but we'll see. You get a washout tomorrow, reclaim VWAP 620 setup, and we'll see how that daily candle is looking. I think this chart overall is starting to build a nice base here. So I like the right side of the chart being built out. Inside day, like I said, tomorrow would be really nice. I also got HUT here on my list, right? Another super big shakeout of the 20. You're still above the 10 and 20, probably down in the after hours. Who knows? The weekly chart's not horrible on this one either, right? You've kind of been sideways for 3 weeks. And you're trying to build a higher low. At least that's what it looks like with this reversal bar today. Another one where it's like, can we get a morning washout tomorrow? I'll be watching these names for an inside day, some sort of bounce, and I'll be watching the prior day's highs for sure on these names. That's going to be it for the data center stuff, right? Iron's gotten destroyed. Um, what are some other ones? Cores looks fine, right? It lost to 20 today, but continue keeping an eye on this group. I definitely think it's pretty important. But want to get started with AEHR, right? You come into the 50 yesterday, you lose it, you get back above it today in a weird way, but it's a double, or it's an inside day today. You held the 50 today. We're back above it. So we will have to see. You flip to a weekly chart, you got a nice pivot, and we're right under that, right? And that's you kind of squat back under the pivot that we absolutely chopped around like shit for a while. And could this be a higher low spot here? Definitely something I'm paying attention to. I'm really just going to be watching today's highs as that spot, or can we get another super tight day tomorrow if the market just wants to do nothing tomorrow, or have a gap down and then push up higher. We'll see if you can get a washout and then a move right back through the 50. That's be something I'm going to watch. I like just I mean, I don't know. This chart is not my favorite, right? It's not very linear right now, but this name has shown that it can get linear. So I don't mind this spot right here at the 50. It's definitely something I want to keep an eye on, but I'm not super obsessed. CrowdStrike, right? This is going to be a part of that cybersecurity ETFs I showed you guys. I think they look great, right? You got almost a double inside day, right? Another super tight day today. You're holding the 20 day. The weekly chart looks fine. I just want to see a push above today's highs, really, and for this name to get going. And you had FTNT today make a new all-time high, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a new all-time high. So You know, beautiful, super nice high tight flag. I think an inside day tomorrow on FTNT would be a 5-star, right? I think this name looks awesome. It is a little extended from the 50, right? You're a little over 6.5 ATRs from the 50 SMA. So take that as you will, but I think an inside day tomorrow would definitely be super interesting. So this is another name where I'm going to watch for that morning washout, if that can happen on a gap down, and then we'll go from there. But you know, it looks awesome. I wouldn't be surprised to see it gapping up and going tomorrow, or just going in general tomorrow. Doesn't look too bad. DDOG, another cybersecurity name, right? The reason why I have this on my list, rather than like a Okta Snow, is because this name is at all-time highs, right? You look at a weekly chart, it looks okay, right? You made a big move up, you're pulling right back. So and on low volume on the weekly, so it is what it is. But I don't mind the candle today, right? You kind of shake out these lows, or you can take from these lows, right? If that's a spot where you grabbed it, good job. But I think just you know, today's high remains the 20-day that we need to get back above. So I'm watching today's highs as the spot to just maybe have a washout inside day tomorrow, or just an overall push, some relative strength, which this group has been super strong relative to the market. So, you know, stuff's been going down. These names have been holding up really well. Watching a push above today's highs will be super interesting, or pretty much your 20-day is definitely the spot for me. So want to continue watching it. Frog, software name here. Not a bad weekly chart either, right? Same thing where you kind of get the big move up, and you're starting to build some sort of a little pullback. Nice little, maybe a flag here. You got back above the 20 today. Another one where I'm going to be watching above today's highs. Think it could get interesting there. It was a nice shakeout of this prior low. So not a bad looking chart. Continue to build out. I think it looks okay, and I'm going to be watching for an inside day, a washout, or just today's highs. I think would be interesting. Dell, right? I don't see too much on this Dell, but it's been a big leader. You know, you're kind of chopping around here on the weekly. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing break down, but can this name build a higher low here? Maybe. Definitely something I just want to continue to keep an eye on. You had a nice candle today compared to the, I guess, the rest of some stocks, but you know, it's still above his 10 and 20, right? So it's showing some sort of relative strength. It's been a leader, just a name to continue to keep an eye on. Made a massive, you know, it's made an absolute massive move. So for this name to just continue to digest, it would probably be the best case scenario. So definitely something I'm going to watch, but I want to let the HPE, another one alongside your Dell, right? Not the best day today. You know, it was down 4% today. Not horrible. Not doing anything wrong, but you know, not doing anything that I absolutely love. But you're still building a super nice range. You're above your 20-day. As long as we can hold that, could this spot be a higher low? I don't want to see it lose that 20. You know, your 20-day. But you know, you look at the weekly. Continue to pay attention to this name. I would like to see us get going above today's highs. That'd be super interesting for to me. Continue building out this range it's building, but it's getting super tight here. So definitely of interest. MXL, one of the few semiconductor names that I really want to continue to keep an eye on. Had an awesome day today. You know, phenomenal relative strength. Your weekly chart looks fine, but just a really great day today. You're building some sort of a mini range here inside of a possible bigger range, right? A bigger base here. Another one where it's like a washout tomorrow, inside day, definitely something I want to keep an eye on. Don't really see a setup to buy a few of these names right now. Like I'm not eager to just jump in and buy them tomorrow if they're strength, right? That's not what I want to be doing. Just watching for washouts. NBIS, one of the biggest liquidity names and a big leader that had an inside day today. So super nice. I'll watch how this one acts tomorrow. Maybe a washout, same thing, or just an inside day tomorrow. Get super tight. You know, you try to break out. People that are buying this thing, you know, as like a little mini punch bowl of death, where you know it kind of just, you know, it's got a V, but it just goes straight up for a breakout, like, you know, after being up like 6 to 7 days in a row, whatever you want to say, and it squats back. Like that squat is going to happen every single time. You hopefully, you know, for people that are trying to chase this thing, but you know, nice squat. You're still above the 1020, a relative strength name. Inside day today, continue to keep an eye on this big leader. OUST is kind of similar to that, right? You lost the 20 yesterday, but you got back above it today with an inside day. Is it trying to build a higher low? We'll see. I don't want to see these names break down. And OUST, if it breaks down, I don't care about it anymore. But you are at a big spot to the point where could this be a higher low? Maybe. This name was showing really nice relative strength on that gap down on Tuesday, and then yesterday it wasn't my favorite. You know, it was down almost 10%. So we'll see. Not a bad candle day. Another inside day here. Really reminds me of that AEHR. Very similar. So we'll see. Can it hold? Definitely something to be interested in. And one of my favorites here, last one to end it off. You got your SpaceX, right? I think this name looks like a short. Imagine what happens if this thing breaks the lows of the IPO from all the people that have bought this thing. I think it would get super interesting below there, and definitely something. But you flip the chart, right? Or I can even bring up, and I threw this on my list. Your short SpaceX ETF looks awesome, dude. Double inside day. You look at SpaceX, it's getting ready to make a move, right? It's getting super tight here. You come into the 5-day today. That was the exact top for your SpaceX today. So if you were able to get short like off of yesterday's highs, like phenomenal spot, right? I mean, it was a little difficult because I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but uh, I think it looks fine as far as from a short aspect, right? You get a double inside day, you're super tight, you're right below the lows. You flip the chart, like I tweeted about this before as a joke, but I'm being serious, right? This looks like an inverse IPO base breakout, super textbook. So I'm gonna be watching this name for a short 100%. Can we get a bounce, or is this thing just gonna get destroyed, right? And I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see what it's trading at in the after hours. Right, it's down 150.55 here in the after hours, right? So it's already about to break today's lows. Super interesting. Definitely want to keep an eye. If you can't short it, you can pay attention to this 2x short ETF SSPC. It is pretty liquid, so definitely want to keep an eye on this. I think it looks great, right? A few back burner names. I'm watching AAOI as an undercut and rally of the lows. GLW has been a monster, right? Absolute monster. Another new 52-week high today. So super interesting. VIAV, kind of getting tight. I just don't like the weekly how you have a bearish engulfing. Got absolutely hammered last week. But you had a nice bounce on Monday, and you're kind of 3 days. I don't know how to feel about this. Just going to continue to keep an eye on Marvell. You're building a nice little base here on Marvell. Continue to watch Intel. Not, there's no setup for me here, but obviously it's been a top name, something I really want to keep an eye on. BE, same thing, right? Absolutely no setup here. NVT, you kind of squatted back in the base, something to keep an eye on for sure. Okta, not a bad name to keep an eye on. Showed some nice relative strength, just got a lot of overhead supply. And Snow as well. Snow as well, another name. You got a decent amount of overhead supply, but I mean the name is looking okay. Yeah, put a nice reversal candle. It's still above the 20. Continue to keep an eye on it. That's going to be it for me. I will catch you guys on Sunday. Obviously tomorrow's gonna be Friday, so no video tomorrow, but like I said, I will see you guys all on Sunday. Hope you all have a great weekend. Peace.